In this lecture, we'll discuss about context-free grammar and its probabilistic extensions. In natural language processing or computational linguistics, we define something known as a phrase structure grammar, which is nothing but a context-free grammar. So, the grammar of the natural language which we are working on is defined by using a phrase structure grammar. So phrase structure grammar is a context-free grammar which is defined like this: non-terminal and terminals and some sort of protections. So S produces NP VP, V produces V VP, VP produces V NP PP, and so on. NP produces epsilon, and the S, VP, and PPP are all these non-terminals here, and N produces people, N produces fish, V produces fish, and so on. These are the terminal symbols. So by using this grammar, we will be able to generate statements like this: people fish tanks, people fish with roads, and so on. So you can start off with the start symbol. S produces NP, NP is noun phrase, and VP is verb phrase. So it is S produces NP, and later on NP produces N, and N produces people. So this people can be obtained. Then the second VP, that VP produces VNP, and this V produces fish. Then NP produces N, and PP produces PNP, and so on. So people fish tanks can be easily obtained by using this. So it is done with the help of construction of a parse tree. So we'll start off with the start. We'll start with the start symbol, and we'll apply the productions in a sequence in order to generate this statement. So that's how we construct the statements out of this grammar, which are in this, which belongs to this grammar. Formally, a grammar is a context-free grammar, which is same as a phrase-structured grammar, is defined as G is equal to four things. First is non-terminal symbol, set of terminals, set of non-terminals, TNSR, set of terminal symbols, the set of non-terminal symbols, the start symbol S, which is a non-terminal, and the set of productions, set of rules or productions, which are of the form: a non-terminal gives you gamma, where X belongs to a non-terminal and gamma belongs to uh, non-terminal union terminal star, any number of non-terminals and terminals. So in this case here we have S produces NPVP, it contains two non-terminals. N produces fish, it contains only one terminal symbol. VP produces VNPPP, it has three non-terminals, and so on. So this is gamma. S X produces gamma is the set of is the form of production, which is this, that is non-terminal union terminal star, zero or more number of productions, zero or more number of terminals and non-terminals. It can be zero also, so that X produces epsilon will be the production. But you can see that with this grammar is very much ambiguous. So and this NP produces E itself is making the grammar ambiguous. A grammar G generates a language L. So this we know already. A language L is the set of statements which are accepted by this particular grammar. So the statements which can be generated out of this grammar is belongs to this language. For example, these are the statements which can be generated from this grammar. So like that, you can generate thousands of statements. That all these statements belongs to the language that generates the language that contains the language. So a grammar G can be used for generating a language L. A phrase structured grammar in NLP is same, but with a very small difference. There is two additions to this. That is, you have the set of terminal symbols, set of non-terminal symbols, and the start symbol, and set of rules and or productions. In addition to that, you have something known as C, which is a set of pre-terminal symbols, which is the pre-terminal symbol is just before the terminal symbol. You In the previous case, we have taken an example of this people fish tanks, right? S produces NPVP, and this NP produces N, and this N produces people, right? N produces people. So just before this, you can have an intermediate. N produces something, and that produces people. So that sort of place is called a pre-terminal symbol. Just before the terminal symbol, you can attach a non-terminal, which is not a non-terminal. We call it as a pre-terminal. For example, lot of productions applied, and at the end you have something known as a determinant, and then a the. So a determinant is this production. A determinant produces the. That sort of to represent all the uh, pre-terminal, that represents a pre-terminal. So you have a set of pre-terminal symbols also. And you have something known as lexicon. Lexicon is the set of items of the form X produces X. X produces X means where X belongs to N, sorry, X belongs to C, X belongs to the set of pre-terminals, and uh, please note that this is X belongs to C and small x belongs to terminal. So this also represents a pre-terminal produces a terminal symbol. So you have in a phrase structure grammar, you have T, the set of terminal symbols, N, the set of non-terminal symbols, C, the set of pre-terminal symbols, S is a start symbol, which is a non-terminal, and L is the set of lexicons, which is of the form a pre-terminal symbol produces a terminal symbol, and R is the set of productions of the form X produces gamma, where gamma is N union T star. By our usual convention, S is the start symbol. That is where we start for building our parse tree or the sentence. But in statistical NLP, we usually have an extra node at the top just before the start S. So you can construct this as a tree. So S will be our the node which is available in the top. But usually we'll construct a node which is above that, which is on top of it, that is represented as top or root. That is the usual convention in NLP applications. And we usually write epsilon for an empty sequence rather than nothing. So that is specific to NLP. So that was just I was mentioning about context-free grammar. Then we'll look at the probabilistic or stochastic context-free grammar. The probabilistic version of it, there is nothing difference here. We have just added the probability value along with a context free grammar. That's it. You have set of terminal symbols, set of non-terminal symbols, and start symbol. Then you have something known as the set of rules or productions which are same. X produces gamma, and you have a probability attached along with it. That is, p is a probability function. Of course, a probability function is going to give you a value which is between 0 and 1, a value between 0 and 1. And for each of the production, you are going to assign a value that is between 0 and 1. And this is how you assign a value. For every x belongs to n, x produces gamma belongs to r. Probability of x produces gamma is 1. Means that from a non-terminal, the probability that is attached, the probability that is given, for example, from a non-terminal, if you have some number of productions, then the sum of all these probabilities will be 1. That's the meaning of it. So, for example, in this case, let's say we are assigning a probability to each of these productions. S produces VP, NP. So it should be having a probability equal to 1. V produces VVP, and VP produces VNPPP, For example, in this case, NP produces NP and NP. You have four productions here with the left hand side is a non-terminal NP. So means that the sum of the probabilities of all these productions should be 1. That is, this can be point 0.6, point 0.2, then point 0.1 and point 0.1. So like that, the sum of all these productions. There is only one production with PP equal to PNP. So the probability of PP produces PNP is 1. So that's how we specify the probability. So the probability is assigned for each of the productions, and it is assigned in such a way that if you have multiple productions out of a particular non-terminal, then sum of the probabilities of all the productions of that non-terminal will be 1. That is sum of probability of X produces gamma is 1. A grammar G generates a language model here. Here, in a using a probabilistic grammar, context-free grammar, it generates a language model. The language model is such that for each gamma belongs to T star, probability of gamma is 1. This is an example of probabilistic context-free grammar, usually denoted as PCFG. For each of the productions, as I've told, we will be assigning a probability. S produces NP, VP. There is only one production with S, so we'll assign a probability equal to 1. And with V, there is I have missed this P, I think. This is VP. So VP is VP produces VVP, VP produces VNPPP. That was the production. So VP is coming two times. So we can say the sum of these two productions, that is one is 0.6 and the other one is 0.4. So it is sum is equal to 1. Then NP, NP, NP. You have three productions with left hand side is equal to NP. So the sum of all these 0.1, 0.2 and 0.7, sum of these three productions should be 1. Here, compared to the previous context-free grammar which we have seen, I have removed the NP produces epsilon, so that with empty NP removed, the grammar is less ambiguous. Still, the grammar is ambiguous, but compared to the previous one, it is less ambiguous. That's it. So this is how we assign a probability for each of the production. We'll assign a probability in such a way that if you have non-terminal produces gamma with in multiple times, that is the multiple times if a non-terminal comes in the left hand side of the production, then sum of all these probabilities should be 1. That's it. The probability of trees and strings. We have seen how to construct a tree out of a grammar, that is something like a parse tree. So we'll start off with the start. We'll start with the start symbol, then we'll apply productions in sequential order, and we'll construct the uh, tree, right? So the probability of a tree is the product of the probabilities of the rules used to generate it. So the probability of a tree is the product of the probabilities of the rules used to generate it. For example, here, for example, let's say I have the previous uh, production like S produces NPVP. That was the production we have to use in the beginning. That is S produces, there is only one production with S. So S produces NPVP. So the probability is 1. NP produces N. Let's say you have used that. Then it is equal to 0.7. Then N produces people, it is 0.5. So you'll have to multiply all these things together, 1 into 0.7 into 0.5, like that. So that is how you find out the probability of a tree. The probability of a string is, so by constructing a tree you are going to get a string, right? So the probability of the string S is sum of the probabilities of the trees which we can generate by using this grammar. So as I've told, this grammar is ambiguous, and that is the main difficulty with natural language itself. So this is ambiguous. So because of that, you can generate this string in multiple ways, in multiple by using multiple trees. So different trees can generate this string. So the probability of the string is sum of all these possible trees. So a probability of a tree is the product of all the probabilities assigned in each of the internal nodes, and the sum of the all these trees will be the corresponding probability of that string. So probability of S says sigma over j p s t, where t is the parse tree of sigma s. For each tree you sum it. So this is just an example. Let's say you have the statement people fish tanks with rods. So we have used the productions in this sequence. S produces NPVP, then NP produces N, and N produces people. Then VP produces this production was used. This is actually VP, you corrected. VP equal to VVP. VP produces VNPPP. This was used. VP produces VNPPP was used. So it has got three non-terminals. Then V produces fish, and NP produces N produces tanks. So all these cases you have probabilities. This is one probability, this is zero point 0.7, this is 0.5, 0.6, zero point 0.4, point. So the probability of this entire tree will be 1 into zero point 0.7 into 0.5 into 0.4 into 0.6 into and so on. So this is how you generate the probability of this tree. Now, for example, the same sentence or same string can be generated by another tree like this. S produces NPVP, then VP produces the previous, that is this was used. VP produces VVP. So instead of VP produces VNPPP, in this case it has used VP produces VNP. In the previous case, it has used a verb attachment, and this is a noun attachment. So here it is VP produces V produces fish, then NP produces NPPP, and so on. So here also I can calculate the probability 1 into zero point 0.7 into zero point 0.6 into zero point 0.5, zero point 0.6, 0.2, and so on. So the probability of the this is the calculated the probability. This is the string people fish tanks with rods. The verb attachment was like this, 1 into zero point 0.7. This is that verb attachment, 1 into zero point 0.7 into zero point 0.4 into zero point 0.5, and like that it is calculated, 1 into zero point 0.7 into zero point 0.4 into zero point 0.5. So multiply all these probabilities, so you get this probability 0.0008232. And probability of the second tree was this was the second tree, 1 into zero point 0.7 into zero point 0.6 into zero point 0.5 into zero point 0.6 into zero point 0.2, and so on. So this is 1 into zero point 0.7, zero point 0.6, zero point 0.5, and so on. So this is how I can calculate this probability of both the trees. It is coming out as 0.000244696. So the probability of the string is the sum of the probabilities of both the trees. So it is this probability plus this probability. So in the usual sense, if you give this statement to this grammar, the probability of getting this tree is more. Why it is so? It is because here instead of this probability zero point 0.4, we are using this probability 0.6 into zero point 0.2. So it is instead of zero point 0.4, we will be having a value 0.6 into zero point 0.2, means it is 0.12. So you will be you are using you can see that this zero point 0.4 and this 0.6 and 0.2, this two are same, the rest of the things are same. So this will be treated as 0.12, so it is less probable tree. Once if you are giving this statement with that grammar, this is the most probable tree. Now let's look at what you mean by Chomsky normal form. This I think you already know Chomsky normal form. In a context-free grammar, if all the rules are of the form x produces yz or x produces w, there w is all terminals, then uh, w is a terminal symbol, and these two are only two non-terminals. So you have a non-terminal produces two non-terminals, or a non-terminal produces a terminal. So this sort of structure is called Chomsky normal form. So this you can transform grammar to Chomsky normal form without losing any generative capacity of the context-free grammar. Empties and unaries are removed recursively. We'll take an example. Let's say this is our grammar. We'll try to convert this into a Chomsky normal form. So here this is already in the form, this is already in the form, and what about this? This has got three non-terminals in the right hand side, so this is not allowed, and empties is not allowed, and this is not allowed, unaries is not allowed. So empties and unaries usually are removed by using recursively. You will be removing. So the first step is we will remove this what is known as this unary and empty. NP gives N and NP gives E. So what will happen? You need to supply this that is NP produces E. That let's say you have removed this. Once you remove this, then the corresponding production need to be applied in all the places where NP comes in the right hand side. So NP produces E means this is removed. So S produces VP will be one more production, and here NP produces NP. So this is this entire production can be removed. NP produces E will be again coming. NP produces EPP, so it is NP produces PP. Like that, the number of productions will be added more by while removing some of the productions. Like so, you have S produces NPVP one production, and S produces EVP, which is S produces VP. So like that you add more productions, and you have now you have so many productions with so many unary productions. What is allowed is only binary productions, right? X produces YZ, only that is allowed, and this sort of productions are also allowed. Non-terminal produces terminal. So now we need to avoid this, that is S produces VP. So binaries and unaries are removed from the grammar recursively. That's it. In the next step, it will be like this. So next step will be removing this S produces VP. So it will be you will be having production like this. So all VPs will be all S will be S in the right hand side will be used with VP, and then all VPs in the right hand side will be replaced with V. So it is S produces NPVP and S produces NPV. So S produces VP produces VNP. VP produces VNP, that's already there. S produces VNP. S produces this NP is S produces S produces VP, so this can be directly assigned. So it is S produces VP is getting removed, so means that S produces VNP. That's also need to be added. So like that, you convert the entire grammar by recursively removing empties and unaries. So in the next step, the Chomsky normal form, it will be like this. Now you have with this, I think you have with this step you have completed all the binaries and unaries, unaries and empties. Now you have this many productions with non-terminals and this many productions with terminals. See that all these productions are in the correct Chomsky normal form, but here we have some productions which are not in the form. That is, you have three non-terminals in the right hand side. Here also we have three non-terminals in the right hand side. So in order we need to avoid this also. In order to avoid that, we'll use something by adding few more non-terminals. That is, VP produces V and a new non-terminal, and this new non-terminal produces the next part of it, and so on. So this is how you convert your uh, grammar into Chomsky normal form. Once after after converting grammar, you need to do something known as binarization, which is very crucial for cubic time context-free grammar parsing. We are going to discuss about N-cube parsing algorithm, the CKY parsing algorithm. In For that, the binarization is very important. So before binarization, this was the grammar. Now after binarization, this is the grammar. So you have removed all unary productions, and you have removed all empty productions. So you now the tree what you are getting after this will be, after the binarization, it will be like this. Now binaries and unaries, if you have in your tree, for example, in this case you have this statement. So this tree structure, let's say you have this tree structure. This is Penn tree bank tree. So there are two methods, that is high value attachment. For example, this was your statement, root s vp vb then a tone. Then this can be done with the help of all the intermediate non-terminals can be removed. Only use the uh, highest non-terminal, or you can use the lowest non-terminal also, that is no unary productions. That is to take care of the unary productions in the tree, you can use this method. Here see that there are unary productions, np produces n. So this sort of productions also can be avoided. So let's see the n-cube parsing algorithm, that is the CKY algorithm. Let's say you have this statement, this string fish, people, fish, tanks. This is your statement, and the grammar which we are going to use is the previous grammar which we have already seen. So we will construct this parse tree of this, or will parse this string in order of n cube time. Here you consider this square as a value or a probability which represents this word. This square represents the probability of people. This square represents fish. This square represents tank. And the second square which represents the combination fish people, and this people fish, and so on. So this is how the algorithm works. You can consider this as a square box, and the square can be completed in order of n square time, and each of this will be having multiple values, maximum of n values. So that is what n cube time. So let's take the first example. You have people, and so the word people can be obtained in from these productions. V produces people. It has got a probability of zero point 0.1. Here we had that probability. See, V produces people. V produces people is 0.1. So this is the grammar which we are going to use here, and in the grammar converted into Chomsky normal form, and that grammar is getting used here. So he have the all terminal symbols productions in the here. So this is B produces people, it's 0.1. N produces people is 0.5, and NP produces people is 0.35. This is how it is obtained. NP produces N is 0.7. Here there is only binarization is done. It's not converted into Chomsky normal form. Okay. So NP produces N is 0.7. Then N produces people is 0.5. So it is 0.7 into 0.5, that is 0.35. So like that, N produces fish is 0.2, V produces fish is 0.6, NP produces fish is, NP produces N 0.7 into N produces fish, that is 0.7 into 0.2, that is 0.14. VP produces fish is 0.06. VP produces fish is VP produces V is zero point 0.1 into V produces fish is 0.6. So it is VP produces fish is a two-step process. So VP produces V produces fish. So it is zero point 0.6 into zero point 0.1. So it is 0.06. So this is how the first rectangle of the algorithm is calculated. So it's the problem will be something like a recursive sort of manner, or the values calculated here can be utilized for the calculation here. So here we'll calculate the values first. All these rectangle, oh sorry, all these square boxes. This represents this words. This represents second word, third word, and fourth word, and so on. So this is how we have calculated. Now we can calculate. You can we can find out the value at this box. Unaris can be incorporated into the algorithm. It is messy and but does not increase the algorithm's complexity. Empties can be incorporated. That is just an extended CK by parsing algorithm. Here you can have unaries and empties, but binarization is a important thing here. Without binarization, you cannot get it in cubic time parsing. This is a CK by algorithm. We'll run through this algorithm with a simple example which we have seen before. Just go through this algorithm, and yeah, this is the we'll look at a CK by parsing algorithm. You have this grammar, and we take the sentence fish people fish tanks. This is the square boxes which will calculate first. The probability of the non-terminal which can produce this term, probability of the non-terminal which can produce this, which can produce this, and so on. So the probabilities are calculated as, so the first probabilities are calculated as n produces fish is 0.2, V produces fish is 0.6, n produces people is 0.5, V produces people is 0.1, and so on. So this is by using the productions of this form. A non-terminal produces a terminal. Then we'll be having other productions also. NP produces N, VP produces V, and S produces VP. So by using all these non-terminals also, we can produce this term. That is, this is a fish. For example, S produces VP, then VP produces V, and V produces fish, right? So it is 0.006. X produces VP is 0.1, VP produces V is 0.1, so it is 0.01. Then V produces fish is 0.6, so it is 0.006. So like that you can see that these are the possible ways by which we can calculate, or we can find out this term, and these are the possible ways by which you can find this term, and so on. So this is the first uh, in the first step we'll find out all the probabilities, all the single term probabilities. Now in the next step we'll find out all the probabilities by which we can find out this probability, fish people, these two terms, and this is people and fish, this is fish tanks. So we can generate it out of, so it is a bottom up sort of construction. From S you can construct like this, from BP you can construct like this, from NP you can construct like this, and so on. So this is in the next step, and in the next step you will get these two boxes filled, and in the next step you can see that this final box is also filled. From NP you can have this probability with this sentence is generated. From VP you can have this sentence generated in this probability. From S also you can have this sentence generated in this probability. But we need to check whether this box contains a production of the form S produces this or not, S produces this with some probability or not. Then only we can say that this grammar, this statement can be, this string can be generated by using this grammar. So S produces, so this box contains, the final box contains this S produces NPVP and the uh, this is the probability by which this statement, this string can be constructed. So once if S produces NPVP is available, then you call this call build tree, score and back to get the best parse tree. So from this you can get the best parse tree, that is S produces NPVP is uh, this we have used here, and correspondingly the productions used here and here we have to identify. That will be done with the help of this backtracking. So that's about probabilistic context free grammar and CKY parsing algorithm. Thank you.